The rehabilitation center's fluorescent lights hummed overhead as Lila Hart traced her fingers along the cool metal railing. At 17, she had memorized every corner of the facility, every echo that bounced off the sterile walls, 3 years since the accident that stole her sight, and she still hadn't grown accustomed to the perpetual darkness that had become her world. "Miss Hart, we have someone special for you to meet today." Dr. Sarah Chen's voice cut through the ambient noise of the center. There was something different in her tone, excitement mixed with apprehension. Lila turned toward the sound, her head tilted slightly in that characteristic way of those who relied on hearing above all else. "Another therapy animal?" she asked, unable to keep the skepticism from her voice. She'd been through dozens of them. Gentle golden retrievers, patient labs, even a remarkably calm cat. None had clicked. None had understood the rage that still burned inside her, the fury at a universe that had robbed her of color and light. "Not exactly," Dr. Chen replied. "This is Rex. He's a retired police K-9, Belgian Malinois. 73 successful operations, 12 commendations for bravery, and a reputation that made criminals surrender at the mere sound of his bark." Lila heard the pause, the unspoken warning hanging in the air. "He was retired early," Dr. Chen continued carefully, "because he became too aggressive after his handler was killed in the line of duty. The department was going to put him down, but we intervened. He's been here for 6 months and he hasn't let anyone touch him. Won't eat unless we leave the food and walk away. The trainers have given up on him, honestly, but there's something, I don't know. I thought maybe you two might understand each other." Before Lila could respond, she heard it. The click of claws on linoleum, heavy and deliberate. The other sounds in the room seemed to fade. She could feel the weight of a presence, something primal and damaged entering her space. Rex stopped 3 feet away. Lila could hear his breathing, measured and controlled. Not the panting of an excited dog, but the calculated assessment of a warrior who had seen too much. "Everyone's afraid of you," Lila said quietly, not moving. "They see you as broken, dangerous, beyond saving." The breathing paused. "I get it," she continued, her voice steady despite the tremor in her hands. "I'm angry too. Angry at the drunk driver who hit our car. Angry at my parents for dying while I survived. Angry at the darkness. They want me to be grateful I'm alive, to adjust, to move forward. But how do you move forward when everything's been taken from you?" Silence stretched between them. Dr. Chen stood frozen by the doorway, hardly daring to breathe. Then Lila did something that would later make Dr. Chen's heart stop. She lowered herself to the floor, sitting cross-legged, making herself vulnerable. She extended her hand, palm up, not reaching forward but offering. "They say you're the most dangerous dog in this facility," Lila whispered. "They say you can't be fixed. But maybe that's because they're trying to fix the wrong things. Maybe you don't need to be fixed. Maybe you just need someone who understands that some scars don't heal. They just become part of who you are." The weight of Rex's stare was palpable. 70 pounds of muscle, teeth, and trauma, deciding whether this small human was threat or kindred spirit. Then something miraculous happened. Rex moved forward, not with the aggressive stalking gait the trainers had documented, but with careful, deliberate steps. He circled Lila once, twice, his nose working, gathering information in ways she couldn't see but could feel. Finally, he settled beside her, his warm body pressing against her leg. Not demanding attention, not submitting, simply present. Lila's breath caught. Slowly, carefully, she lowered her hand to his head. The fur was coarse, battle-worn. She could feel the scars beneath it. Raised lines that told stories of violence and survival. "We're the same, aren't we?" she murmured, her fingers tracing the contours of his skull. "Everyone's waiting for us to be who we were before. But that person, that dog, they're gone. And maybe that's okay. Maybe we don't have to go back. Maybe we can just go forward as something new." Rex's tail thumped once against the floor, not the exuberant wagging of a pet, but the acknowledgement of one soldier to another. Dr. Chen watched in stunned silence as Lila leaned against Rex, and the legendary police dog, the one deemed too dangerous, too damaged, too far gone, rested his massive head in her lap. For the first time in 6 months, his eyes closed in something resembling peace. "What's happening?" Lila asked, hearing Dr. Chen's sharp intake of breath. He's letting you hold him," Dr. Chen whispered, her voice cracking. "In 6 months, he hasn't let anyone touch him without growling. And now he knows," Lila interrupted softly. "He knows I'm not trying to fix him. I'm not pitying him. I'm just here in the dark with him, and that's enough. From that day forward, Rex and Lila became inseparable. The dog that no one could train became her guide, her protector, her partner. He learned the commands not through force or repetition, but through trust. She learned to navigate the world not despite her blindness, but with the help of someone who understood that strength comes in many forms. The trainers called it a miracle. Dr. Chen called it unprecedented, but Lila knew the truth. It wasn't about fixing what was broken. It was about two souls, scarred and angry and afraid, choosing to face the darkness together. Rex didn't need to be the perfect police dog anymore, and Lila didn't need to be the girl she was before. They just needed to be enough for each other. And in the end, that was everything. The most dangerous police dog in the facility had found his purpose again. Not in violence or service to the law, but in the quiet companionship of a girl who saw him not with her eyes, but with her heart. And perhaps that was the most human story of all, that love and understanding could reach even those the world had given up on. That healing came not from erasing the past, but from accepting it, and that sometimes the bravest thing anyone could do was simply sit in the darkness with someone else and say, "I understand, you're not alone." Rex had spent his career protecting humans. Now he'd found the one human worth living for. And Lila, who had spent 3 years in darkness, finally found a light that needed no eyes to see.